So there's only really two things that we fear. The one is not getting what we want, and the other one is getting what we don't want. Everything else, really, I mean, those are the two things we fear. I mean, outside of real danger, those are the two things that we fear psychologically. But let's explore that a little bit, because, okay, let's just assume you got what you want. Well, most people would say, well, if I get what I want, then I'm happy. Okay, cool. Like you have a nice experience, or something that you want happens and you get it, and nice, you feel happy. What if you consistently got what you want? Like always. Imagine you're a basketball player and somebody gives you the genie comes out the bottle and says, okay, I grant you one wish, and you said, I want to be able to get this ball in from anywhere in the court, and the genie says, okay, excellent, from here on, anytime you touch the ball and throw it, it's going in the basket. And so, I mean, how cool would that be? And so you get onto the team and you start throwing the ball from everywhere on the court, and every time you throw it goes in, and your teammates are like, wow, just pass it to him or pass it to her. But how long would that last? Because after a while it would get boring. After a while it would get boring for your teammates, and no one would want to play with you eventually, because they'd go, well, it's just boring, because you're going to win, we're going to win. And the same is true for getting what we want, because if you got what you want all the time, then the law of diminishing returns says the more you get what you want, the less you want it, or the less satisfied you are with it. So is happiness then really about getting what we want? And the answer is no. We think it is. And so we strive after the things, trying to get the things that we want, not realizing that actually getting what we want is not what's going to make us happy. And so getting what we don't want sometimes is important, because you see, if we could choose and just get what we wanted all the time, and I suppose that comes back to, if you feel that you control your life, then, well, you don't. But I mean, if you did, if you could control your life, then you wouldn't choose hardship, you wouldn't choose tough times, you wouldn't choose challenges, because you'd always choose the things that you want, and you wouldn't, and as a result you wouldn't grow. So it's, I think what we need to do is we need to start thinking about happiness differently. Happiness is an emotion, sadness is an emotion, anger is an emotion. These are emotions, and emotions are fleeting, because emotion, energy in motion. Emotion is how we experience energy moving in the body. And so different things trigger different emotions. And it's perfectly natural for human beings to experience the full range of emotions, just like on the keys on a piano. You don't want to only play the bass notes or the treble notes. You want to be able to play the whole lot. And so there are times when it's appropriate to be sad. If you've had a loss or something like that, it's appropriate to be sad. If there are times even when it's appropriate to be angry. These are perfectly natural emotions, and there's no one emotion that is right and there's no one emotion that is wrong. So let's think differently now, because it's not about happiness, because happiness is fleeting, because happiness is an emotion. And when that energy is moved in the body, then the emotion ends. What we really after, if we really step back from this, we are after a state of being, not an emotion. And let's look at, I would say, I can't think of any others. I'm not saying there aren't any others, but I can't think of any others that really stand out to me other than joy, freedom, peace, love. And if you look at those four, they are not really emotions. Joy is not an emotion. Joy is a state of being. It's a state of being in total acceptance of what is. And that means that if you are if you're feeling sad, then joy is about accepting that and not trying to make it wrong. If you're feeling angry, joy is about accepting that and not trying to make it wrong. Obviously, we don't want to act out the emotion. We want to feel the emotion. We want to relax into the emotion so that that energy can move. If you act out the emotion, now you start to trap that energy, and that's why we end up getting triggered by things, because we store that emotional energy, we stop it from moving. So that's joy. Freedom is not an external state, not an external set of conditions. Freedom is an internal state, and really freedom is when we are no longer, our energy is no longer triggered by external things. Stuff can happen, we feel different emotions because of it, but we are not triggered. That we've let go of all that stuck energy. So the best path to freedom is anytime you feel something has triggered you, whether that's a positive state or a negative state, a positive emotion or a negative emotion, it's to relax into that. It's to allow that emotion, that emotional energy to move in the body. So that's freedom. And the more you let go of that, the less emotional charge there is. A trigger can't do anything unless there's an emotional charge or an explosive charge. So the more you let go of that explosive charge, the less that trigger can do. So that's freedom. Peace is being able to stay in an internal state of clarity and calm. So in amongst all, sometimes there's like busyness, there's craziness going on all around us. Sometimes there's turmoil, sometimes there's all sorts of stuff going on around us. But can you be in a state of calm clarity on the inside? It's an internal state of calm clarity. And then the last one is love. So love is really around opening up the heart, and it is around love is about embracing everything that is. And sure, it's a difficult one to really, it's a difficult one. I'm finding it difficult actually to explain it right now, probably because if I'm honest, that's one state that is still certainly one state that is still a little bit conditional perhaps for me, because you see, when we allow, the more we allow our energy to move and the more we let go of that stuck energy in the body, what happens is we allow that energy to move through us, and love becomes unconditional. It becomes a state rather than an emotion. An emotion is dependent on certain external things. So when this and this and this happens, wow, I feel so loved. When you do the right things, I feel so loved. When you say the right things, I feel so loved. But that's the victim version of love. Love is actually a state of being where you're so connected to the flow of life, and you're so open to the flow of life that there's just a sense of love unconditionally. All right, so I'm not speaking from a place of authority with that one. There's still lots of work to be done there. So that last little bit is very much sharing kind of more intellectual understanding of it than it is sharing real experiential understanding of it. Okay, so if you look at then joy is total acceptance. Freedom is letting go of all the trigger, letting go of all the stuck emotional energy that gets triggered in us. So we're not being triggered by external situations. And peace is being able to stay in that inner calm state. And then love is really opening up to the flow of life. And you'll see how interconnected those four are. And they are not emotions, they are states of being.